He shakes up these national point standings with his second consecutive win. For Army Armstrong.
Son, coming up next, a monster truck showdown in the border town. This is Trucks and Tractor Power, featuring the all-stars of the Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge. Welcome to the corner of Texas and Old Mexico, where tonight in the Sun City of El Paso, it's monster truck racing. Hi, everyone. I'm Stan Rhoads, and thank you for joining us tonight on this edition of Trucks and Tractor Power on the Nashville Network from Sunland Park. When you talk about monster trucks and how the sport took off and got started, you naturally think about Bigfoot. Well, I'm pleased to have joining me tonight the man who raced Bigfoot, Rich Hooser. And Rich, not too long ago, you were getting yourself prepared for a race like this tonight. I'm curious to find out what's going on in some of the minds of the drivers.
Well, the first thing they want to do is come out and check out the track condition. The ramps going up to the cars to make sure they're level, see if they have to hit it from one side or the other. The condition of the cars, if there's a bad spot in the cars, you might have to try to avoid that. And, of course, the whole distance of the track, that's going to determine how fast these guys are going to go.
All right, well, we're going to go trackside right now and check in with TNT Motorsports' Mike Goss. Mike?
Thanks, Stan. This might be the fastest monster truck racing course ever built by TNT Motorsports. It's 400 feet long. It's got 2 car jumps. The first one is 7 cars. And then they've got a whopping 200 feet to really build up speed for a 12-car jump. Don't expect these trucks to be hitting the first 5 or 6 cars in that last jump. They're going to be flying through the air at 50 miles an hour. It's another 40 feet then to the finish line. This is a powered track. It's going to take a lot of horsepower. That means USA 1, the defending national champion, has the advantage.
All right, Mike, thanks much. You can see the crowd is in anticipation as we get ready to start round 1. However, we still have one more truck to qualify, and that's the 1988 points champion, Rod Litzow, driving USA 1.
Now, Rod Litzow does have a little bit of an advantage here. He's got a lot of horsepower, 572 cubic inch Chevy. Now, he's running 5 tons without planetary, so that ought to help him get the speed to run a fast run.
Oh, a little squirrely on that first jump.
Yeah, he bounced a little bit crooked coming off that first one. That might make it a little hard for him to line up for that second set. And looks like he gets little problems there, but he pulls out of it real nice.
Unbelievable. Rod Litzow, USA 1, fastest qualifier, ending things up there on 2 wheels and powering out. What a run.
Excellent driving, Stan. As you can see here on the first set of cars, he has a nice jump, but it throws him to the left just a little bit there with the rear tires. But he did line up for the second set of cars, but when he did land on here, he got his weight thrown over to the one side a little bit. As you can see, the tire got real close there to the fender well, and that's going to throw him up to the left-hand side. But with the horsepower he's got, he's able to pull out of a situation.
Let's go down trackside with Mike Goss.
Now, the last time you raced, you smacked the wall in Chicago. It didn't look like you were afraid of it this time.
No, I'm not afraid of the truck. What happened there is I came out the first set a little bit crooked, and so try making up for that, I hit the cars a little sideways, threw me into it, but at the speed I had, I was able to pull out.
Now, you actually had to hit the throttle down here at the finish line to stay on all 4 wheels, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, that's the only way the truck will pull itself out. It's like before we found, if you let up the throttle, it'll cause you to roll. If you stay hard in the throttle, it'll pull the truck straight again.
Now, can you win this thing?
That's why I'm here.
Well, no doubt about it. Rod Litzow has established he's the one to beat. Stay with us, folks. First round action begins right after this. Ready for the start of round 1. USA 1 gets a bye run. It'll be Master of Disaster versus King Kong, Barely Tame versus Mad Dog, just showing off, taking on Leadfoot, and then Nightlife up against Wild Hair.
There's Master of Disaster. He's running a 572 cubic inch Chevrolet, blown and injected. He's got a turbo 400 transmission with 5-ton axles. Now, of course, King Kong's running an 86 Ford with a Chevrolet engine, 500 cubic inches. Not quite the cubic inches, but he might have just enough horsepower to get going.
Well, they're ready to go. There's the green light, and it is King Kong, driven by Jeff Dane, getting the lead, but now Doug Spanier.
Right there, the second set of cars where Doug Spanier takes the lead. He comes over with a nice, smooth run.
A good win there for Doug Spanier in the first round. The Master Disaster.
As you can see, Stan, on the replay, King Kong gets ahead of Doug Spanier on the first set of cars. But as soon as they hit that flat ground before the second set, Doug takes over right there.
All right, let's go down trackside with Mike Goss.
Doug, a pretty nice run. How's that track feel to you?
Track feels pretty good tonight. I did my qualifying on the right hand. I'm doing the first run on the left. The left one feels a lot better. I hope I can stay with that one tonight.
Okay, they had to put a lot of dirt in the cars and things today, but they feel pretty solid to you?
They feel pretty solid, yeah.
Next up, it's Doug's younger brother, Randy.
Fairly tame, a 79 Ford with a 439 cubic inch Chevrolet engine.
He's going against Mad Dog in the right lane.
The Breen Boys Racing Toys. This ought to be a great race here. These guys are about the same as far as horsepower goes. Let's see what happens.
All right, waiting for the green light. They're revving them up. There's the green light, and they're on their way.
It looks like Mad Dog's have a little bit of problem there, so it looks like Randy's going to have a nice, easy win as long as he can keep it on the track.
He's taking it rather slow as he goes over that second row. And indeed, it's Randy Spanier with the win.
Of course, Randy did have a little bit of problems there, but not quite the problems that Mad Dog had.
Randy, virtually a bye run for you, but it looked like you had a little problems after the first set of cars.
Yeah, I was having trouble with the shifter in there. I was hitting it, and then it went going. All of a sudden, it went, and it went too far. And I hit reverse out there, and we all wish it wouldn't have happened, but it happened. And I got my stuff back together, and I hate to win that way. I'd like to see it at least be somewhat of a close race, but I guess that's the way it went.
Well, it takes many people to put on a race such as this. Such as the man you're looking at, Alan Jackson. Earlier today, Rich Hooser spoke with him.
In preparation of these junk cars before a race, it takes a lot of time and a lot of work to get them ready. Standing with me is Alan Jackson of Track Builders Incorporated. Hey, Jay, tell me what it is you do to get these vehicles ready before a race.
Well, when we get our cars, we try to get the largest cars we can get to start with. And then we put 3 tires in each trunk to hold the trunks up so we won't have any holes. Put 2 bales of hay in each seat to hold the top up so there's no big holes. Then if they haven't got motors in them, we put tires underneath the hoods also.
Okay, what about the tires? Is there air in them?
No, we have to take the air out because it's kind of like waves on an ocean when they run. The cars bounce up and down as they go over them, and it throws the trucks around.
For all these cars here, with all the going through them, you've done a lot of them. Have you ever found anything good in them?
Well, every now and then we do. Once we did a show in Hampton, opened up an old Cadillac, and it was completely full of new stereo equipment.
Rich, I can remember a time seeing you take an item off a junk car before.
Yes, Dan, as a matter of fact, I did, and it did help me win a race.
Well, there he is. Pablo Huffaker is just showing off.
Pablo's running an 89 Ford 500 cubic inch blown and injected on alcohol turbo 400 transmission. Now he's going up against Leadfoot. He doesn't quite have the horsepower. It's a 77 El Camino, and he's also running a Ford engine.
Well, Mike Speller's ready. Red light is going to turn to green. Just a second. There it is. Whoa, problems for Leadfoot, and Pablo's got an easy run here.
It looks like he's going to have a nice run. If he can keep it all together and finish, he'll advance to the next round because I do believe Leadfoot had red lighted.
Well, Pablo Huffaker, as he's going to cross the finish line for an easy win, is just showing off. He's got the win.
Okay, we'll look at here. Leadfoot crossed the line a little early right there, and of course, Mike Speller's seen that. Let's go to Mike and see what happened.
Ron, I understand you were disqualified at the starting line. Can you tell me what happened there?
Well, we all run stall converters in our trucks, and I was bringing up the RPM to stall the motor out, and the brakes didn't hold it, so it jumped just a little bit right before the light turned green, so I stopped, and then he took off, and they told me to take off, and I guess I was disqualified.
Well, tough loss there for Ron Dennis, and now it's Dave Wyzorik's turn.
Nightlife, an 87 Chevrolet Stepside, 454 cubic inch blown and injected on alcohol up against Wild Hair. Now, they had to put a stock 454 in this from a junkyard car right before they got here.
Well, Mike Speller's ready to give him the green light. Momentarily, there it is, and here they go.
Okay, over the first set of cars, Wyzorik's got a tremendous lead, but I tell you what, Wild Hair is keeping up pretty good with that stock engine.
And it's going to be Dave Wyzorik in Nightlife 2. He's the winner.
Of course, here on the replay, Wild Hair keeps up with him pretty good, and I'm starting to wonder if that engine is really stock in there. And, of course, Nightlife on the second set of cars takes it nice and easy so he can advance.
Here's Mike Goss with the winner.
Dave, what do you think about that run?
I think it was a pretty good run. I didn't hit it quite as hard as I did on qualifying and just trying to get the hang of the track. And it seemed to work pretty good for me.
Any special driving style for a track like this?
Not really. Just hang on. It's a long course. You get a lot of speed, so you're going to get some air.
As the radio-controlled mini monster trucks please the crowd, Rod Litzow wheels USA 1 into place for round 2.
Good this year. I've raced him before. Let's see how this goes.
And there's the green light. Doug Spanier taking off in the lane he likes, but here comes Rod Litzow.
Yeah, he's having a little problem in that lane he likes, and Litzow here just takes a tremendous lead.
Whoa!
His back end came up in the air a little bit.
Whoa, USA 1, the win, those first.
We'll see here on the replay now. And USA 1 take off against the Master Disaster. They're side by side across the first set of cars. Now, as soon as they get down in between these two sets, now this is where Litzau takes advantage of his horsepower. Now, of course, with the speed he's got, he doesn't quite clear the cars. Now, watch, when his back tire just barely hits that last car, that's what throws his back end up in the air, but he stays in the power and comes right out.
Exciting win for Litzau. Let's go down trackside, Mike Goss.
Rod, you looked real smooth till the last set of cars, and it just keeps throwing you off, it looks like.
Well, what happened there is I didn't quite make the last car. My back tires caught the last car, throwing me into a nosedive, and then I just got to ride on the front wheels and pull it out. I know it gave the guys a little scare here, but I pulled it out of there.
Okay, now, how fast do you figure you're going down there?
Well, I'm topping the truck out right now. I should be getting close to 70 miles an hour out of it.
Okay, this one ought to be a good one. Here we got Bob Breen and Wild Hair out of Jeff City, Missouri, going up against Randy Spanier. Now, these guys are both fairly new drivers, Stan.
Well, let's see what happens. There's the green light as they take off. It's nose to nose, although Wild Hair's in front by a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't know if he can keep it. Now, he's running that stock 454 out of a junkyard. Now, let's see what happens here at the finish. It's going to be close.
Oh, and it is Randy Spanier in Barely Tame as the winner.
Okay, let's take a look here and see what happened. Now, across the first set of cars, these guys are pretty much side by side. Wild Hair does have a bit of a lead, about a half a truck length, it looks like. But, of course, coming down to the second set of cars, I think, is where Spanier really took off.
Here's Mike Goss, trackside with Bob Breen.
Bob, you pushed Barely Tame to the limit, but you're really limited on your engine, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm running a stock 454 right now. My brother and I bought the motor. It was in a car, Monte Carlo. We give $500 for the whole car. And I usually run a blown and injected alcohol motor, and I blowed it up, and I had a $4 piece that I couldn't find there at home. That's all I like, getting it back together, so I had to stick this one in there. And I had the tachometer right on 6,000. That's all she'll do before it starts floating the valves. I thought I had him, and I heard him coming. I knew it was over.
Besides the beautiful paint job of Barely Tame, you can't help but notice the tires. A lot of people ask, where do you get these giant tires? Rich Hooser has the story.
One of the things that makes a truck a monster truck is the tires. What I have here is a 66 by 43 25 Terra tire. The size is 66 inches tall, 43 inches wide, and has a rim diameter of 25 inches. The weight of this tire with a steel wheel can weigh up to 1,000 pounds. The pressure that's in these tires can run anywhere from 6 pounds to 10 pounds per square inch. The price of these can run anywhere between $500 to $2,500. That depends on whether you get them new or used. The origin of these tires come off of fertilizer spreaders from the Midwest. So you might not have ever seen these tires if it wasn't for the sport of monster truck racing.
Well, there's 8 of these tires now as we get ready for the third heat of the second round.
John Breen out of Jeff City, Missouri, old country boy. He's got a lot of experience up against Paul Huffaker, just showing off.
And we're ready for the green light. There it is. They're ready to go. There's a problem with John Breen.
It looks like John's having that problem again, just like he had before. So if Pablo keeps it going and stays inside the course, he'll have a win.
Now John Breen stalls, and Pablo Huffaker going across the finish line, just showing off.
Okay, here John Breen is he's got it running again. He's going to go ahead and continue the run. Now, what the reason for this is, if he goes ahead and makes a legal run, if somebody breaks in the next round, he will be eligible to return.
Well, once again, John Breen having problems at the start. Let's go down trackside with Mike Goss, as he'll find out what the problem is from John Breen.
John, 2 races in a row, you had problems at the starting line. What's going on?
Well, the altitude here is pretty high, and we're having trouble getting that fuel injection set up right. The temperatures drop quite a little bit, and, you know, when you're running fuel injection like that on methanol, it changes your engine quite a little bit. We went out there, and we cleaned the filter. We thought maybe it was a little bit dirty. Come back and set it a little leaner, and it coughed at the line, and it was all over, but it's crying then.
Well, it's the final heat of the round 2.
Jeff Dane with King Kong got his work cut out. He hasn't been driving much lately, up against Dave Wyzorek and Nightlife.
Mike Speller gives them the green light. Here they go. And it looks like Nightlife is running away with it. Going strong.
Coming across that second set of cars, he's got a tremendous lead over King Kong, and he takes the win.
All right, Dave Wyzorek, the winner in Nightlife.
So we'll see here on the replay, they're pretty much close, side by side here over the first set of cars. And Nightlife kind of takes over, but King Kong catches up a little bit before the second set. But Nightlife is able to take the win.
All right, Mike Goss, trackside with Dave Wyzorek.
Now, Dave, you got pushed a little bit that time. Did you work a little harder?
Yeah, a little bit. Steve's a good driver, and he's a hard truck to beat. So I don't know. I'm glad I beat him. He's a tough truck to beat.
Okay, now I asked you earlier. I'm going to ask you again. Can you win this thing? USA 1 looks real tough.
You bet I can.
Well, Go-Go entertains the crowd, and Dave Wyzorek in Nightlife certainly has his work cut out. We're down to the final 4 trucks. As we're down to the semi-final round in the border town. It's the final 4. USA 1. Rod Litzow against Barely Tame, Randy Spanier, and then just showing off Pablo Huffaker taking on Nightlife, Dave Wyzorek.
Rod Litzow in USA 1 against Barely Tame. Now, looks like
Wait a minute. What do I see underneath there?
He's having a little problems getting started, Stan, and that's Pablo Huffaker over there giving him a hand. I think they're helping him get a jump start.
Well, indeed, Rod Litzow is having a problem. See if he can get it corrected.
Now, Rod Litzow's got to keep this vehicle straight in this round. He's going up against Barely Tame. Now, he is fairly new, but then again, if he goofs up and something happens with Rod's truck, Barely Tame could win.
Well, we're going to find out in a moment. Barely Tame, Randy Spanier, he's only 20 years old, up against Rod Litzow. Here we go. There's the start.
And of course, Rod takes an early lead. Now, he's just got to keep it. He's going to take it pretty much nice and easy. He's not clearing a whole lot of cars, and he lands and takes the win.
He sure does. Easy win, really, for Rod Litzow in USA 1.
Of course, it was easy, Stan, but he did have to keep the vehicle under control, so that's why he did not keep the throttle down the whole way through. Comes across the first set nice and easy, hits the second set, not a whole lot of air. He lands about the second car from the end and takes the win.
Puts him into the finals. Here's Mike Goss.
Rod, you had some problems getting started down there. What was it?
Well, it was a combination of my starter getting hot and those new kill boxes were running. I didn't have the switch on it, and it was just running around trying to get ready, a little antsy. I just realized and got it running now. Hopefully, the starter does get hot and it causes a little problems, but we should be ready.
Okay, a nice smooth run that time. I'd say it's probably your best one.
Yeah, I backed him off a little bit on that one because I knew I ain't quite clear in the cars with the gears I got, so I'm just going to back it off a little. I went for my fastest run of the day, and I think I'll hold it there.
Okay, Dave Wyzorek in Nightlife 2. He's worked hard to get this far. He's been doing real good this year with this truck. Let's see if he can hang on. But he's going to be going up against Pablo Huffaker, which just showing off. Now, Pablo's been here before in these semifinals, and he knows what it takes to win a race.
All right, let's find out who it's going to be up against Rod Litzow in the finals. And there's the green light. They're off. Good start for both. Neck and neck.
Now, Pablo has a little bit of problem there right after the first set of cars. He's doing a little bit of bounce, and that's going to slow him down.
And it's going to be Dave Wyzorek in Nightlife. He's the winner.
So you can see here, Stan, right here's where Pablo has his problem. He hits that car, which gets him up in the air just a little too much, and it causes him to bounce again. Now, he's losing speed here, and that gave Wyzorek a chance to get ahead and take the win right there.
What's your strategy against USA 1 in the final?
Well, just do the best I can and beat him.
Does that mean drive hard off the line and stay in it?
Yeah, I think that's where it's going to be, is off the line. If he gets me off the line, he's going to win it.
Now, he's been running down in the 9-second area. Do you think he can run that fast?
Well, we're going to give it a try.
And you can sure bet this guy's going to give it a try, too. Let's go back down trackside to Mike.
It's the finals. USA 1, the defending champ, against the Nightlife. This could be a close race, although USA 1 has been faster. Nightlife is very, very smooth over the cars. If USA 1 gets out of shape like he has a couple of times tonight, it could be a great race.
Well, Rich, I'm curious to know how you would handle this race.
Well, Stan, to me, the most important thing right now is concentration. Your reaction time is very critical here at the start. Now, this is where Rod Litzow might have a little advantage over Wyzorek. Now, Wyzorek's new at this. Now, he's going up against the champ, and let's see how well he does at this starting line.
It's time now for the showdown in the border town, and there's the green light. Here we go. USA 1 is out in front over that first jump. He's way ahead of Dave Wyzorek, and he's got a lot of air going across the line, and there's our winner, Rod Litzow, USA 1 championship round winner. Good run.
It was a great run, Stan. As we'll see here, Litzow comes across the first set of cars nice and smooth. He gets a little bit of air on the bounce, but look, his tires are on the ground. He can get his speed before he hits the second set of cars. Now, coming across them, he doesn't clear them, but he keeps it nice and easy to go across the line.
And he powers out across the line there.
Great run.
Now, what about Dave Wyzorek?
Now, he had a little bit of problem here on the first set of cars. As you can see, he's bouncing a little bit too much, and he gets a little sideways, and he's got to let off the gas a little bit, so he's losing a little bit of power right there, and he's losing his speed, and that gives Rod the win.
Okay, it was a tremendous final in El Paso, Texas. Our runner-up, Dave Wystoric. Dave, you pushed the national champion to the limit.
Well, I wanted to give him a good run, and he got me, but one of these days I'll get him.
Okay, good luck to you later on.
Thank you.
All right, our champion, it's his first win of the season on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge. Rod, you had a rough spring. You've got to feel pretty good about this.
Yeah, it felt good to finally come out with a win. You know, I'll be outdoorsy in that again now. I hope we can just keep on this track. I'm behind a little bit, but I'm going to push the truck, and I feel good when I'm outside, and that's what I'm going to do.
Okay, let's go back to Stan.
Thanks very much, Mike. Congratulations once again to our winner, Rod Litzow in USA 1. On behalf of Mike Goss, Rich Hooser, this is Stan Rhoads saying so long from El Paso, Texas. Join us next week for Trucks and Tractor Power on the Nashville Network.